Hello, everybody. I think we are live. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are looking at the replay or if you are um, watching us live. It is always an honor and pleasure to have you guys in with us. Hello, Reina. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, and yeah, I'm excited for today's topic.
Hello, Rowan, and hello, everybody, live or on replay. As always, we appreciate that you are sharing this space with us. Today's topic is a very, very buzzing subject in my world lately. So I was like saying to Rowan, come on, let's go and talk about this again, once again, another layer of this comparison and how to beat comparison. So yeah, I cannot wait to dive in. If you have any questions, please put them on the YouTube comments, live comments, and we will try and answer them. So let's dive in.
All right. So when it comes to comparison, right, it is actually like, for me personally, from what I've experienced, right, is that it's a hurdle. It's like a blockage that we put in front of our own way, right? Because the situation or whatever we are comparing it to isn't what we wanted it to be, right? Because why would you, so right now I've got a question for you. Why do you compare in the first place?
Right, okay. So as you were talking, the first thing that comes to mind is because of my expectation. So is this an expectation probably that I am expecting myself to be somewhere that I have not really reached? Therefore, I compare. And let's be honest, with the social media, especially, it's just the first thing in your face. It's like the easiest thing to compare, to go and compare yourself. So I think expectation probably versus reality, it's one major thing for me. Although, and saying this, as I have been consciously catching myself comparing, and then instead of some kind of expectation, I try to shift straight away into appreciation. And I always try to remind myself, this is my journey, this is nobody else's journey. This is my personal journey. So when we kind of tune into this grace and gratitude and appreciation of where we are and how far we have become, then I think it's just easier to drop comparison. It is a conscious process. And if you catch your monkey mind, you have to really say, okay, that's it. No more, that's not okay. Don't compare yourself to others, So it's kind of an inner dialogue going in, going inside of you. What about you?
Well, for me, when it comes to comparison, I've from about 2000 and like mid 2021, when I lived in a community that we were in, the main theme that like we had in this little group of people that we had is do not compare yourself to anybody else. So the seed was planted back then, and so what is comparison? It is either saying something's good or bad, right? It is taking object A and object B and saying, okay, how are they equivalent? But they are never going to be equivalent, right? It's impossible because they're not the same thing. So that's why I mentioned earlier, you're placing your own hurdle in front of you because you will have to jump over it, and it's going to be is going to hold you back in a sense of fully enjoying the present moment, firstly. And then also, secondly, if you obsessed with this comparison and comparing yourself to somebody else, you are literally holding yourself back from experiencing the full personal growth that you were meant to experience, right? So yeah, when it comes to comparison, Reina, what would you say is like something that's a recurring theme for you in when it comes to comparing yourself with others, or even if it's like your social profile? Okay, Reina will be back shortly. There you
I
go.
am sorry, yeah. Okay, still clearing on the physical. I bet this is with my comparison, related to my comparison struggles lately. Okay. I think it's the shiny things, It's
Yeah.
like not necessarily the material things, but the shiny things, like the opportunities, like all the things that you know what you need to do for your own personal journey. Like I know what I need to do for my personal journey, and then just getting myself distracted with another opportunity or another beautiful thing that has happened. And yeah, most opportunities, I would say, dressed as the shiny things.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, I can do this or I can do that. And why have I not thought about doing this and that and then the other? So I think trusting the inner compass, it's like so important when it comes to this. And I took some social media break last week, so about week and a half probably. And I found out that this really helped me, to just tune in and listen more to myself and tune more into my divine feminine, rather than being in my divine masculine all the time and do. And
Mm.
this is a working process for me. I think this is one of the lessons that I need to learn, to balance these energies even more. And then I see that everything flows then. So, and I was reflecting on comparison, and again, I think comparison is a way of distracting yourself in a way from your journey, because if you compare yourself, you're not really focused on you, but you're focused on the others, and the validation doesn't come from outside, never.
Mm.
It's a validation, internal validation that you give to yourself, your love and your self-worth, and that is all related to your self-image. Obviously,
Yeah.
I catch myself comparing, and in the first before, I was like, oh my god, so I'm comparing, like what? And I kind of try to repress it, and that has been a deeper layer, maybe subconscious layer, maybe even unconscious layer, that I found out recently, that I have been suppressing comparison. Then I'm like, okay, I welcome you here, go on then, what have you got to say? And as soon as I kind of allow it, it's almost like, well, there is nothing to be said. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting then. Okay, let's sit in this,
Mm.
embrace this. Whatever, slow moving frequency through your body of comparison and all that. And then I just instantly ask myself, I'm like, okay, am I ready to let go now of this? Am I ready now to just, for once and for all, just, stop comparing myself? I'm done with it. I'm unplugged with that, comparing myself to other mothers with parenting, comparing myself to other creatives, if you want, comparing myself and my relationship to other people's relationships. In every single aspect you can compare yourself, and what's the good
Mm.
in all that? So just don't kind of this, I think, don't use it as a distraction comparison.
Mm. Yeah, that's good. That's good. One thing that came up to me, one thing that I think, yeah, as you mentioned, that comparison with like other people and like shiny objects and like being a distraction for us, right? But comparison also has a different, it's like a scorpion. It doesn't just have one sting, it got claws as well. It has different tactics, right? So how can you, what is your take on comparing yourself for where you are now
I love you,
to where you
mommy.
want to be?
I love you, mommy. I love you too. Comparing myself to where I'm right now to where I want to be, or to where I was.
But to where you want to be, and comparing is like, why aren't you there where you are? So basically in that context, yeah.
That's a reverse question. That's a really good one, actually. Because when we normally talk about comparison, we're like, oh, so compare yourself to how were you yesterday in comparison to today, how far you've come. But that's a very thought-provoking question, comparing yourself to where do you want to be. And yeah, okay, it's getting yourself out of your comfort zone. This is the thing that stops you. It's the fear of failure, fear of success, the procrastination, the am I worthy, am I not worthy, the imposter syndrome, all those things. The comparison is a kind of like the lid, and it's like everything is like bubbling there. It's like, what is that? Why? Why? And isn't it time to take this lid off and say, okay, let's see what's that. What can we pour inside so these things can just let go of these things. And I really like this analogy with the water and like mud or sand. Have you seen it? It's like in a glass of water, you have all these like mud and sand and all that stuff. So if you keep stirring it, or if you keep trying to scoop it out and let it out, you're going to take water as well. But when you pour more water in, they kind of automatically go out, and clears through. They're never going to be like 100% clear of all those, procrastination and fear, and they're always going to be there. They're part of our human being. They're those indicators that you need to move, you need to do something. So they're really good stuff in the healthy proportion of it. But when you put yourself with so much love, and then your next step, and nobody likes to be told what to do, right? So that's why I love this container that we have created, that we can actually expand together and grow together and just be in that oneness and embrace each other rather than one person guiding. And so yeah, so I think all those stuff, if we are more loving to ourselves and we're like, okay, I know what I need to do, to not compare myself, to just do and keep your momentum. It's one small step on a daily basis in that area of your life, whether this is nutrition, relationship, friends and family, finances. One very, very small step. It doesn't even need to be uncomfortable, like, to put you in a very big, uncomfortable position. You're gonna be then focused on your journey, on how you better yourself, and then you're not gonna go back to comparison, all that stuff that are provoking this comparison. But to answer your question, I think I stirred a bit around. Okay. You're asking me what is stopping me from where I'm right now to where do I want to be, right?
Yeah, so it's like because the comparison that happens because of it, because we all have this, just to put some context to it, right? Because we all have this mental image of where we want to be, right? And then if we take a look at where we are now, we don't see that reality. Then we're comparing with ourselves, like what we don't have, and then we focus on what we don't have and not focusing on what we should be doing. So how would you like overcome that?
Yeah. I think it's just be true to yourself and just better, to show up as a better version of you because you want it, and to live in that space of grace and of unconditional love for yourself, to take your responsibility and to know that I am doing those steps, and I am on that journey. So is it the destination where do you want to go, or is it a choice of you can actually emotionally live from that space right here and right now? You don't need any kind of material stuff, because it's kind of, if we go into the human experience that we are living, right? If we say it this way, how you say, okay, where you want to be, it's like where you want to be. In my head, I don't know how it is for you. It's like, okay, these houses and all these, jobs and all these like material, it's transfers it straight away into material stuff, right? It's not like a state of enlightenment that I see, or a state of, do you understand what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think another thing that we have access to on a daily basis. And again, when I say this is a conscious journey, what do I mean by this? I keep saying this. A conscious journey means that you have a choice, just to be aware that you have a choice where you live. So you can focus on negativity, or you can focus on, being optimistic, not even like positive. Like, we're not saying, oh yeah, there is no problems, but how can we go to the root of those problems and, ask ourselves better questions so our situation improves in a better way. And that is like a ripple effect for us and for our family, for our society, for the community, and for the society as a whole, because this is what we want to do. We want to live in a better world. How? We have to be the change that we want to see. We cannot just stay there and say, oh yeah, I want this, I want that. Okay, what are you doing then? What am I doing to be a better person? Where do I emotionally choose to live on a daily basis? I mean, there is abundance in the universe, right? And abundance is not only money is a byproduct.
It's part of the experience.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, I feel abundant and I feel as the best version of myself, and I have the choice. And you can be like, that's the best version of me. If you are like unfocused, and if you are like dispersed all over the place, come back into balance. That's me again. That's me again. Go into this, go into the rhythm. Come back. As easy as this. Even though you could be going through struggle, there is always something to be grateful for.
Yeah, definitely. I just wonder, we got some comments that came through. So, Ren, I want you to just touch on this. Harpna says, my mum was comparing my achievements to my colleagues' achievements when I was little, and it stays with me to compare with other, particularly women. So, yeah, that is quite a big one, because it carries through from when you're younger to when you're older. So that's also an effect that comparison have on the long run as well. So what are some of the advice that you can give for that?
I want to say that I relate to this, because I got compared by my mom when we were in primary school. Why are you not like this and this person? And they are better than you. That was I can hear her voice in my ears right now as I heard the comment that we received. Thank you for the comment, by the way. I think we need to come back to the truth of who you are. Who am I? And say, okay, your mom and my mom alike were thinking, yeah, okay, you better. Good. I'm glad. Sorry. That's why.
We have a lovely little girl that's joining in the background. She's so amazing and sweet.
She's a bit poorly, but she says, I'm feeling better, so that's good.
That's great.
Our parents, what I wanted to say is this, and this is the journey of forgiveness. It's another whole topic, and it is very inspiring as well. Maybe we can have next week maybe a chat on that. Our parents did the best that they could with the awareness and understanding that they had at that time. Trust me, nobody wants to fail in life. Nobody wants to fail their children in life. I now understand it as a parent of 4 children, So what I guess when my mom was telling me this, or maybe when your mom was telling you this, it was like, I'm going to motivate this child to perform better, because in my eyes, she's not performing to the standard that others are, or, or other, colleagues have been and stuff like that. And that was her understanding. And that can have, and here it is. So probably that is a comparison that I have been dragging. And this, what you said, what this comment provoked in me was like, oh, hold on a minute. Here is the root of the comparison for me personally. So very insightful. So forgive and let go, and you know who you are. And if we are here committed to live this life on our terms, it doesn't matter what the other person's opinion is. because yeah, they can compare it to A, B, and C, but if you are content within yourself and you're the best that, and you do the best that you can, and you are happy about your progress, isn't it time to let go of this, and to be like, okay, that's fine, that is your opinion, I appreciate your opinion, and you could have parents up until this point where we are grown up, we are parents ourselves, but you still can have a parent at this age that they come from that understanding still, and they can say, oh, why are you not married, why are you still not having children, like blah blah blah, why are you not in this job that is paying this much money, why are you not buying a house, or this could happen even in adulthood. Protect your energy, say, I appreciate what you're saying, I know what I'm doing, just protect your energy and feel that you are protected. I think this is very important, to set boundaries, I think, for the external rambling, and set boundaries with ourselves as well, alike, because your monkey mind can be the same as other people from external environment, even worse. And we don't need this in our lives, we don't need all these curtains in front of us to see the road in front. So I think we can it's our responsibility to pull the curtains. That's it, enough, that's enough. It's fine, I appreciate it, I love you for who you are, I know what I'm doing, and have this, like, trust this inner self. I think that's why when I've been working with my divine feminine, it's like, okay, I know what my next step is. I'm not gonna listen to anybody around, especially if it's not aligned. Set my boundaries and just try it myself. What
Yeah.
about you? Do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, well, one thing that's coming to me, as you mentioned, you opened the curtains, right? Is seeing things as they are, right? Not worse than it is or better than it is, right? Just see things for what they are. Don't put any labels to anything. I think that's the quickest way to get rid of comparison, right? It's just stare it right in the eyes, right? Take a look at everything exactly what it is, right? And if you feel that it's might be bigger and you want to compare it to something, step forward, embrace that challenge or that situation or that confrontation, right? Embrace it and learn from it and see it for what it is. And before you know it, you use this challenge instead of a something that you can compare it to, like, and as a hurdle in front of, or a blockage in front of your path, right? But you use it as a stepping stone to growth. And once you're on top of that situation, right, you've got a different vantage point to look at your surroundings and see, okay, which direction is it that I need to go? So yeah, we just got a couple of more comments that I want to run through.
Yeah.
Sam says, hey guys, I've been trying to compare myself to previous versions of myself recently to recognize how far I've come. And then I asked, how has this assisted your awareness to expand? And Sam replied, it helped me realize that I am the answer to so many of my previous prayers and incentivizes me to continue forward towards the future versions of myself that are living my best life.
What a brilliant answer.
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, amazing awareness. This is exactly, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, as Sam also mentioned, Reina, that's so true. Be the change that you want to see. That also comes back to the awareness, right? It's the answer to your prayers. Like, who do you need to be to answer the prayers that you are in, right? And not just that, it comes back to whose prayers can you answer, right? Because there's a lot of people that are going through the same, or not same, but similar situations that you have been in, that you've gotten out stronger through. And they say, okay, my goodness, where do I start? How do I begin to overcome this, right? And all we need to do is basically just lay a breadcrumb trail, right? Or we can create a bridge if we want to, but at least just leave some breadcrumbs for somebody to follow. So, okay, this is a path to take.
Absolutely. You
So
know,
yeah,
I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna ask you something. This is, I think, really important. How, when we are in struggle, you know, when we have been in struggle, whether it's been a physical or emotional or mental, whatever the cause has been, you know, it could be trauma, it could be circumstances, it could be we creating our self-fulfilling prophecy by our negative thoughts and emotions. As we know, we are manifesting this in our life, right? Whatever you manifest, absolutely everything, whether it's positive or negative, you have manifested it.
Mm.
So when you have the awareness that you no longer want to live your life like that, and you don't necessarily compare yourself and you say, I want to be like this person or that person, or how did I reach this point, you know, and you sit in despair. How do you overcome? This is a little bit
yeah, okay.
away
No,
from
no,
the
that's okay.
subject, but it
No,
was
no,
back from
it's
what you were
actually
saying about
no, no.
building
It actually
confidence.
comes the picture that just popped into my mind, right? If you go to like Amazon or any online store and you choose a product, and then some websites got on the bottom a button which you click compare, right? And then you can choose another product to compare it to. Then it puts the two side by side, and it gives you the um, specifications of each product and which one is better and what is it good at, right? So one thing to overcome, right, is to if you got the awareness already that okay, you're not where you want to be, right, and you're in a situation and you want out of it, right? First step is to know that okay, you are an individual having an experience, right? Once you have that foundation laid, you know that okay, I can take steps in any direction that I want. I've been given this whole earth to explore, right? And this whole earth has so many opportunities and potentials for my life. I just need to put myself in the right situations. So if you, I don't think comparison in this sense can be a bad thing, because you can see, okay, where are you lacking, right? That's where the one of the amazing coaching tools that I love is um, the wheel of life, right? It's you see where you are now, and then you choose where you want to be, right? But then you get awareness to where you need to improve in your life. And then once you've got that awareness of where you need to improve, then you can ask yourself the question, okay, what is it? What experience do I really want? Because life is an experience, right? Everything is about the experience of the emotions of it. It's not just getting it and saying, okay, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, but it's the journey of getting there and then experiencing it for what it truly is. Okay, but to answer your question, how do you, so just clarify, you asked like how to get there or how to get yourself to that point?
I think it's more of technique of how can you,
Okay.
in the instance when you know that you have been sitting in struggle for so long, you know, and you know that this is not how you want to live your life. So you know what you don't want. Okay. So this is really important. So people, they normally say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Okay. So that's how like the thought process goes. Okay. So what do you
Yeah.
want is very important, but how you don't want to live your life is really important too. So you get rid of everything that is, you know, no longer aligned in terms of your personal feelings and emotions, your ways of being, any addictions that you might have, for example. It's a broad subject, you know, it can be even
Yeah.
meditation or binge eating or, you know, all that stuff. But how can you create for yourself a technique that you can, in the moment right now, instantly bring yourself back into a more productive thought process and a more constructive thought process rather than just
Okay.
sit in
Yeah.
despair.
Okay.
Yes,
I got the
I
answer.
think
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah. All right. No. So the answer is actually very, very simple. Um, the process, because you asked about the process, right? So one thing that we can um, do that's very practical, that's very simple, but so effective, is get a small little book like this, or even smaller, right? And write your intention. If you feel that you are in a space like you want to go into a direction, but you feel like it's like I'm doing everything that seems to work, right, or that needs to be done, but it's not moving the needle, right? It's not the things that like bring in the um, like the experience to you, or like that making the way that drives that this you do if you like, let's say you need to create logos and stuff like that for your business, but you know you need to go and look for clients because that is what will make your business profitable, right? For instance. So coming back to the practical, like setting your intention, write down, it's like, okay, this task that I'm doing now, what is my intention for doing it? Then you say, okay, I'm doing this because I need to do this, this, and this. And then you can ask yourself the question, is this bringing me closer or further away from my business objective? Like if it's going to rob your time from actually going out and getting new clients, right? Or setting the appointments that you need to do, then stop doing it and then set a new intention. Okay, I'm going to do this because I want to experience this, 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 and this. And then you go and do it because now you already have a direct, definite aim point. So it's very good to put it down on paper because you get then something for your monkey mind to refer back to when you find yourself slipping and almost falling off the cliff, but then you got a chain to grab hold onto. So yeah, I hope that answers your question in
Yes,
a
yes,
practical sense.
yeah, it does. So this is, I think, one of and as you are talking, okay, so we do our lives on Thursday normally, and we stream it on YouTube, and this is our little podcast. And one of my personal intentions, I don't know whether this is one of yours as well, we'll test try what is called check it right now live in front of yours. It's to build a spiritual toolbox if you want, or we can come up with like a fancier name. But anyway, to build like a a box where we can put practices and like that in a critical situation, if you feel like you are falling off the wagon, or if you feel like you are sitting in despair and you are experiencing like a really low vibrational feeling through your body, fear, anger, resentment, comparison, you can grab one of these tools so you can bring yourself into a more constructive space where you're going to benefit as a person. So I think as we were talking now, this is one of the tools that came is journaling and setting intention. So intention setting, so you go back to the root and you ask yourself, hold on a minute now, what is my intention behind this? What is my intention behind, you're like, I don't want to have this nutritional lifestyle. I don't want to keep eating meat, for example. Okay, this is just came to my head, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna become vegan, for example. And then if you feel like you are getting angry because you're not having meat, you're like, oh, hold on a minute. What is my intention behind this? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to be healthier? Do you have any other? So what is your intention behind? And just go back to the root and check whether your intention it's driven by your heart and you really want it, or whether your intention is driven by something fancy outside of yourself because somebody along the way told you that this is the way we do it. So it could not be aligned, different things are aligned for different people. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Do you
no,
agree with me?
definitely.
Is this one of your things? So my intention behind what we're doing on Thursdays is I think this, digging those gems of, and unfolding these techniques. And I think this is quite a powerful one. What's your intention?
Yeah.
Because it then
Yeah,
brings
well,
back to whether you're selfish or whether you are there to serve others, whether you're doing it from your heart
yeah.
and you can like inspire others, or whether you're doing it for absolutely your own purposes, like,
Yeah, no, I love it so much. As you mentioned the last part there about the gym, like dude, like dusting off the gym and like seeing what we can find. For me, it's a step like I think it's a step deeper because we can um mine the information that we want because we are infinite beings, right? We tapped into the infinite intelligence. So my intention before every like episode that we do, right, is that the necessary answers come through for everybody that's listening, whether it be present live or in the future, that the information that comes forth is relevant for everybody listening and in the collective that's being created. And yeah, I absolutely agree with you for the spiritual toolbox, right? Because it's such an important thing. Because I think we've all heard somewhere along the line in our journey about, oh, we got this toolbox that we have that we can tap into. And then when you heard it for the first time, I was like, what do I have in my spiritual toolbox? What does it even look like? Where is it? All right. And I remember when I got that first, like the first time I heard it, then I created like on my notepad, I created like for my coaching toolbox, like all my tools, the personal tools I'm gonna put in there, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to spiritual toolbox, it's much bigger than anything physical that we can ever have, right? Because everything is spiritual at the end of the day. It first starts in the spiritual and the non-physical, then it translates into the physical, right? Physical is like the last person in line. That's physical, right? And spiritual is like the first person in line, and it has to come through all those other people before it gets to us. So
yeah, it
yeah,
absolutely
that
is.
is definitely the intention. Setting tool is one that is important in the toolbox as well. We just got a couple of uh, comments that I want to get through. Harpna says, good point, Raina. I think it can affect our self-esteem a lot, but we are responsible to correct these patterns. Then she also continued to say, when you realize that another is just another form of yourself, then you are more accepting to yourself and to others. IMO. I'm not sure what that acronym stands for, but yeah. Then Sam also says, I love that one. Using comparison as a tool for positive improvement and change. And then Harpner also says, also awareness that you compare yourself to other people is the first step to either change it or use it in a positive way. Just as Ruan is saying, awareness is always crucial for a process of change. And then she also says that it's very practical and handy approach. Ruan, great idea. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the comments. You can keep them coming in. We love the correspondence from you guys. It also shows us that you guys are getting something out of it as well. So do we. All right, so Raina, let's quickly get back to basics about comparison.
Okay.
In the most basic form, what does comparison look like?
In the it looks like this. What about you?
For me, comparison looks like, in the practical sense, it looks like definitely confusion, right? Because once you compare yourself to something, you get more questions than answers. Right? I think that is the one thing that causes the blockage in the first place, because like, okay, I got this and this. Which one do I choose from? But this one has this benefit. But this one tastes nicer. This one is this, and then before you know it, you're like, okay, I'm not taking any of those. I'm going to go get some cheese, right? So,
Oh my days, I know, right?
so yeah, that is,
Don't
and like,
have you seen though? You're like, oh, shall I get? I'm gonna go for a new choice. Yeah, food choice. Let's go to food choice.
okay.
This one or this one. I've never tried them before, and then you go back every single time to the thing that you know. How no,
Yeah.
how insane is this?
Yeah, we make it complicated for ourselves. But also, comparison influences us as well. As you mentioned, it can either influence you to go back to your old habits, or it influences you to make new choices and choose a different outcome, right? Because it can either be, well, comparison is in its essence good or bad, right? But if comparison itself is good and bad, then we can choose which one to feed at the end of the day, right? But we can also choose to drop comparison in its entirety and just go for the new experience, not expecting anything, have zero expectation,
I
and
think
just
that's very
enjoy the
important.
experience for what it is.
Expectation. So I love this quote by Tony Robbins. He says, when you shift your expectation to appreciation, your world changes instantly. And I felt this mostly when I went to give birth to my baby girl, my last one, in 2020, December, when we are in the middle of the COVID, and my husband was gonna come with me, as we always do, to be there in the birth, to cut the cord and all that stuff, you know. So, and I've been then working a lot on myself, you know, and I was like, this is gonna be the most amazing birth. I'm gonna be like really good, you know. I'm not gonna be angry. I'm not gonna be frustrated. Blah blah blah. You know, I'm not gonna be scared. And then we went, and the things were not as planned. But I was like, okay, we flow through this. We flow. So until we go into the hospital, and then he got a call. He had to come back home. So I was gonna stay on my own. I had to stay on my own. And I was like, okay, with him or on my own. That's it. I'm not gonna get anybody there. And then I could easily be like, oh no, he's not gonna be here. And how am I gonna give birth now? And he's not gonna cut that cord. And you know, but straight away, what I did is I did priming exercise by Tony Robbins. And that really helped me because I was already, you know, practicing that. And I shift this expectation and appreciation. I was like, I'm so grateful that I'm here, I'm taken care of, you know, and all that stuff. And my world lit up, you know. I had the most amazing experience when I shift to appreciation. So I think what I wanted to say with this story, if we drop any kind of expectations, right? And we have a pure intention that is coming from our heart to the best, oh, what's the word in English? The best outcome for all of us. That's what I say. We know that we're coming from a pure intention from our heart, right? And then we drop all expectations and we're just on this journey, you know. Then I think comparison kind of straight away just disappears. It's not there, or it might be there, but you're not focusing on it. You have shift your focus on the appreciation, right? And this is the choice that we can do in every now moment.
Yeah, one thing that came through now, like it just like red lights in front of me, is responsibility, right? We are responsible to, as you mentioned, dissolve or just leave comparison, not to influence us in like to live our life to the fullest and for the greater impact of all who is the situation is impacting, right? Because if we don't take that personal responsibility, we're easy to let comparison influence us in either not making a decision or making a decision that is biased to like to go to your comfort zone, especially if you know, because we intuitively know which path to take, right?
Oh yeah, of course we
Into
do.
the first everybody has the first intuitive thought, but then we start comparing. It's like, okay, but this path is easier to take than this path. And then it's like, okay, but I can easily come back later, let me go this path, then take the easier route. But you know for a fact that you had to take the other road, right? So it's our responsibility to not let comparing the situation to influence the intuitive thought that we got. And intuitive flashes come so quickly, but we must also realize that one thing for our spiritual toolbox, right, is that we are powerful beings, and all it takes for us is to ask our spirit, right, or intuitive, like, show me again. And if I do not get it, show it to me in a way that I can understand, and keep on showing me until I know for a fact.
Yeah.
And then once you did that, you set your intention. That comes back to setting your intention, right?
Of
And then the
course,
universe has to respond, right? And you'll get in different ways the same answer. Then you realize, but okay, wait, there's a pattern over here. Then you know, okay, this is my intuition showing me this is the path to take. So ask,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you shall get it.
exactly.
We just got another comment in from Harbna. That's a brilliant idea, Reina, to shift our focus. Our energy goes where our thoughts are. Love that.
Absolutely. And as soon as I was saying this, I was like, I could just feel this, I'm like, oh, this is such a relief. Like sometimes you need to be in that conversation position that we have been doing now to peel another layer. Like my intention was I'm peeling another layer of comparison for me today, and as I was walking back from school this morning, as I was dropping the kids off, I was like, time to really peel that another layer. And I really feel like I have peeled it, I was like, that's amazing. Brilliant. Well, just to sum up then what we have gone through today, I think, on comparison, I think my biggest takeaways are comparison is a choice. Choice of appreciation or choice of expectation. Set your intention. If you are confused or if you find that you are comparing yourself, dig it from your toolbox, that precious gem. I would say maybe it's a jewelry box, I don't know. Dig that gem of setting your intention, going back to the root of your intention. What is your intention? And ask for guidance, and ask until you get that answer clear. You would know, your heart is going to know, your body is going to feel it, your emotional body is going to feel it, your mental body will be like, oh yeah, that's a nice thought. And then it's going to anchor into your physical. You'll be like, that's it, I choose no more to compare because I'm not a person who compares. And I think we can use this as well for other vibrations in that capacity of comparison, like judgment or criticism as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your takeaways?
Well, my takeaways from comparison throughout the session is definitely the intention that we have behind why we're comparing, right? One thing that really the highlight for me was that picture that came to mind about the two products which you press compare, and we can use that as a tool, as Sam also mentioned, that it's a way to see what is missing, right? But then instead of then getting stuck at that point, so okay, this is lacking from my life, this, you just get an overview. It's like, okay, this is where I need to work on, and then close the cart and close the tab, and then focus on the awareness that you just got and improve your life. And also one thing that really stands out for me with comparison is not to use it as a force that would like really block you from reaching your full potential, and just let it go and enjoy the experience and let the experience unfold. So I think to answer the question, right, because in the title of the video is how to beat comparison, right? And the simple answers for that question is drop it in completely and enjoy the experience, whether it be good or bad. Don't even put good or bad in it. It's just an experience, right? So, and then also to beat comparison is set an intention and you follow that intention to the end. That's the simplest way to beat comparison.
Yes, I would agree exactly. So keep dropping that comparison, keep dropping another layer of that comparison, especially if you have been comparing or you have been compared for a long time in your life. Keep peeling those layers and keep focusing on that appreciation for where you are in your journey rather than having some kind of expectation. Then you will not be miserable, you know, then you will be happy. You will be like, okay, that's really cool. You're not expecting anything really, but you're just living in that space of grace. I think this is the way of living. This is the way of enlightenment and living life to the fullest on the emotional plane. So yeah, it was an amazing session. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was really brilliant. We just got a couple of comments that just rolled in.
Yeah.
All right. Hartner says, that's brilliant idea. Raina, I think I did read it, but I'm going to read it again. Shift our focus. Our energy goes where our thoughts are. Yes, I did read it. And then Sam said, yes, I love this, being aligned with intentions and asking your guides. Ask again and keep asking. That is so important. Then Hartner also said, also maybe our ego wants to feel better than others. That's why we compare ourselves to others. If we eliminate ego, we might not have a need to compare any longer. And then Sam said, I appreciate you both, Reina and Rowan. Thank you. We appreciate all of you guys for joining in. It is such a privilege and honor to serve you guys in any way possible. And if this is a platform where we can share our wisdom and what comes to the surface, we are all just conduits for infinite intelligence that we all are. And yeah, hope you guys came came here that you need to get. And yeah, Reina, any last words?
I think you have covered it all. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Tomorrow evening, we have open mic on our Discord community hub. We have sent our newsletter last night. I don't know whether everyone you want to put a link to our Discord hub as well. And as full moon is approaching, we will do a ritual of letting go of anything that no longer serve us, and just, you know, fully another layer of it and stepping up into mastery. So if you would like to join us tomorrow evening, 9 o'clock UK time, we would be grateful to have you there. Until then,
amazing. Live long and prosper. Take care. Bye
see you
for now.
later. Bye bye.
Bye.